All right, so you're here because you want to get to the bottom of big ideas without all the, academic blah, 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 right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're all about that here. So today we're going deep on a classic, like a real cornerstone,
Absolutely.
Plato's Republic. And
Oh, yeah.
this one is it's a bit of a beast.
It's a big one.
It's considered like his masterpiece, and it's way more than just a book about politics.
Oh, yeah. Way more.
We're going to be talking about philosophy, ethics, education, even some stuff about music and poetry that might surprise you.
Yeah. It's got it all.
So, what we're trying to do in this deep dive is to pull out the core ideas of Plato's perfect society, like his vision of utopia,
Right.
and then see how that all connects back to his idea of justice, specifically for you guys, you know?
Yeah. So the book kind of kicks off with Socrates just trying to nail down a definition of justice. Like, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
And he's talking to some folks like Cephalus, who thinks it's all about being honest and paying your debts.
Right.
Paul Marcus suggests it's about helping your friends and hurting your enemies.
Classic.
Then Thrasymachus jumps in with this super cynical take that it's just whatever the people in power decide it is.
Yeah, yeah, he's like the contrarian in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. And Socrates isn't really satisfied with any of these answers.
Right, it's like they're all dancing around the concept, but nobody's really hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, they're missing the core of it.
Then we get to Glaucon and Adimantus, and they really push Socrates, don't
They
they?
really do. They challenge him to define justice itself, stripped of any consequences or rewards.
Yeah.
What is it at its essence?
Yeah, like, is it really a thing, or is it just a means to an end?
Exactly. And to really make his point, Glaucon tells this story about Gages's ring.
Oh, yeah, I love this story.
So it's this ring that makes you invisible, right?
Like, total invisibility.
Yeah, so you could basically get away with anything, like literally anything.
Yeah.
Would you still choose to be just in that scenario?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Right. It really gets to the heart of whether justice is something we value for its own sake.
It really makes you think, like, what would I do?
Absolutely.
So how does Socrates even start to answer a question like that?
So he takes this really interesting approach.
Okay.
He says maybe it's easier to see justice on a bigger scale.
Right.
So he starts building this ideal state in words.
Okay.
It's like he's constructing a model to help him understand the real thing.
So like a thought experiment, basically.
Exactly.
So what are the foundations of this ideal state? Like, what does it absolutely need?
Well, it starts with the basics, right? Food, shelter, clothing.
The essentials.
Yeah, and this naturally leads to the idea of specialization, right? Different people doing different jobs based on what they're good at.
Division of labor.
Exactly. He even compares a super simple state focused only on these basic needs, like a city of pigs, he calls it.
City of pigs.
A more complex state that includes things like luxuries and the arts.
So he's not saying we should all just live like, minimalist farmers.
Yeah. No, he recognizes there's more to life than just survival.
Right.
But he wants to figure out what the right balance is.
So where do the guardians fit into all of this? The protectors and the leaders.
So the guardians are absolutely crucial to Plato's ideal state.
Okay.
And he believes that their education is paramount to the well-being of the entire state.
So education is key.
Oh, yeah. He's very particular about what stories they should be told.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he even criticizes Homer and Hesiod.
Like the big names in Greek literature.
Yeah, for depicting the gods as flawed and doing all sorts of, not so great things.
So like Zeus and all his, affairs and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plato worries that those stories could corrupt young minds.
Interesting. So no stories where the gods behave badly. Why is that so important?
Because for Plato, God should be seen as purely good, unchanging, and truthful.
Okay.
And he even talks about this idea of a lie in the soul.
A lie in the soul. What's that?
Basically, these are internal falsehoods we tell ourselves that can lead to injustice.
So it's not just about lying to other people. It's about lying to yourself.
Exactly. And he believes the stories we internalize shape our character.
Oh, so the stories we consume really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. For Plato, they're foundational.
And it wasn't just about stories, right? Wasn't music a big deal too? And physical training?
Absolutely. Music was seen as essential for cultivating the soul.
Oh.
It could instill harmony and a love of beauty. But again, Plato was very specific about what kind of music.
Oh, so not just anything goes.
No. Certain types of music, like the Dorian and Phrygian modes, were encouraged.
Okay.
And he actually suggested banning instruments like the flute.
The flute? What's wrong with the flute?
He thought it could be too emotionally stirring.
Oh, wow.
And then gymnastics or physical training was for the body,
Yeah.
promoting discipline and health. The ideal was to have this balance between the two.
Between music and gymnastics.
Yes, to develop both the soul and the body.
So this ideal state is starting to sound like a pretty carefully curated place.
It is. There's a lot of intentionality behind every aspect.
So how do you even choose the rulers in this perfect society?
So the rulers are chosen from the older guardians.
Okay.
The ones who have proven themselves over time.
Yay.
Through, like, rigorous tests and challenges.
Like trials.
Yeah. They need to show that they're resistant to temptation, to coercion.
Yeah.
And that they truly prioritize the good of the whole above their own interests.
So basically, these are the people who have consistently chosen the right thing, even when it's hard.
Exactly. They've demonstrated wisdom and integrity.
Okay, so what about this magnificent lie thing I've heard about?
Yeah.
This, like, foundational myth.
Ah, yes. The Phoenician tale.
Okay.
So this is a story that's told to all the citizens of the ideal state.
Okay.
And the story is that they were all born from the earth.
Born from the earth.
Yeah. And that each person has a specific metal mixed in with their soul.
Okay.
Gold for the rulers, silver for the auxiliaries.
Who are the auxiliaries?
The auxiliaries are like the warriors and the helpers of the rulers. And then bronze or iron for the producers, like the craftspeople and farmers.
Okay, so everyone's got a metal in their soul.
Yeah, and this metal determines their natural abilities and their role in society.
So basically, it's like a caste system, but based on this myth.
Well, it is designed to create social harmony and acceptance of the social order.
But people can still move between the classes, right?
In theory, yes. Plato believes that if someone with a bronze soul shows exceptional aptitude for ruling,
Right.
they could rise to become a guardian.
Okay, so there is some social mobility.
Yeah, it's not entirely rigid.
So this magnificent lie, it's like a noble lie for the greater good.
That's one way to interpret it.
Interesting. So how do these guardians actually live? What's their lifestyle like?
They live a very communal lifestyle.
Communal? How so?
No private property, shared meals.
Okay.
Their focus is meant to be on their inner worth and their service to the state, not on personal wealth or possessions.
So no fancy houses or chariots for these guys?
Nope. Plato wants to prevent corruption and ensure their commitment to the common good.
It's like they're supposed to be above all that material stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's bring this all back to justice. What's the big picture here? How does Plato connect this ideal state to the idea of a just person?
So Plato's argument is that this just state, with its harmonious functioning of different classes,
Right.
where everyone is fulfilling their role and working together,
Yeah.
is a reflection of the just individual soul.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
So in the individual soul, reason is supposed to govern the other parts, like spirit and appetite.
So it's like a well-ordered society, but inside a single person.
Precisely.
Mm.
And the education system, the myths, the entire structure of this ideal state are all designed to cultivate this inner and outer harmony.
So it's not just about laws and institutions, it's about shaping the character of the people.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Huh.
For Plato, that harmony, both within ourselves and within society, that is justice.
So it's not just about what you do, it's about who you are. That's pretty profound stuff, I gotta say. So as our listeners are thinking about all this, what's like a lingering question, a final thought we can leave them with?
Well, considering how much Plato emphasizes shaping character through stories and education, and how he sees this pursuit of inner harmony as the foundation of justice,
Yeah.
I think it's worth asking ourselves, how do the stories and narratives that shape our own understanding of integrity,
Right?
like the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we're told by our culture,
Yeah.
how do they compare to Plato's vision?
That's a really good question. Like, are we being shaped in a way that leads to justice, or are there some lies in our own souls that we need to examine?
Exactly.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. Thanks for taking us on that deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until our next exploration.
See you then.
Right, take care.
Me too.